Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves is fantastically ambitious. When I walked out of the theater after seeing this movie for the first time, I remember my whole body was tingling, and in my head I couldn't stop saying, "Holy crap, holy crap." I probably looked crazy to people, but it's for a very good reason, because Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves is a fantastically ambitious, fun, grand, emotional, and auditorily impressive eye candy that needs to be experienced at least once in theaters, and if they're doing reruns of this movie, you should watch it in theaters as well, because this is a movie that was made to be enjoyed with large groups of people. Normally when I watch movies, I intentionally choose the screening with the fewest people, but for this one, for the second rewatch, I intentionally scouted for the screening with the most people, just because I wanted to see what the crowd's reaction was to the movie. That's how special it is. I wanted to see people's reactions to the fight sequences, the witty humor, the sad, emotional beats in the story. This movie slaps. It's one of the best movies I've seen in 2023, and I want to discuss it. I want to discuss the spiritual concepts that we can learn from the story, as well as the different components in the film that make it great. Starting off with Kira and the emphasis on artifacts in this film. So in my opinion, Kira was a really good character, and you could sympathize a lot with her struggles. Having to deal with her caretakers being sent to prison, then learning that her caretakers supposedly abandoned her in pursuit of some riches, only to learn that they came back after all these years, but not for her, but for even more riches, only to learn that she's been lied to this entire time by her new caretaker, only to be thrust into a battle with an evil wizard, and finally having to come to terms with one of her caretaker's sudden death. Her life was a roller coaster of events, but in the end, despite all the pain, Kira decides to forgive Edgin and chooses to trust and love him again, and goes on to fight with him against Sophia, and was the key in defeating her through her use of her invisibility pendant. Kira's pendant was also used for heists and is not the only artifact featured in this film. There's the Helmet of Disjunction, the Tablet of Reawakening, the Magic Suppression Cuffs, Simon's Hither-Thither Staff, Edgin's Lute, Doric's Arm Sling, Simon's Spell Wheel, Doric's Knife, Forge's Dagger, the Sending Stones, Sastam's Horn. There are so many artifacts in this film that they either have to get or already have with them, and it makes the whole experience feel like a game, with quests and rewards, and then we get to use these items on our journey to beat the final boss. It's effectively engaging and uniquely executed, and is one of the best aspects of this film. Moving on though, another aspect of this film that was done exceptionally well was the effects. Practical effects, special effects, and visual effects. And who better to highlight this than the mighty sorcerer himself, Simon Omar. Simon is a spellcaster, so a lot of the things that he does will require effects. And Simon casts a lot of spells in this movie, and they all look fantastic. But it's definitely not just him who they implement effects for. There's also CGI during those ultra-wide shots of the outdoors with all of that nature. Effects are also implemented for Doric whenever she transforms in and out of her creature forms. And of course, the other wizard, Sophia, also casts a lot of spells, and hence a lot of effects need to be added on for her as well. And they all look really good. I'm a huge fan of the time stop spell and just how it looks. I like this little wispy energy blast thing that Simon does. Ironically, I also like the finger flame spell, the reverse gravity spell, and of course the communicating with the dead spell, which was done with practical animatronics. A lot of practical effects went into this film, as I learned through the behind the scenes interviews with the cast and the crew. And creatures like the Dragonborn were all practical. Jonathan was also practical. The fish creature that swallowed the cat baby was also practical. This movie has a good balance of CGI and practical effects in it, and it leads to a really cool product in the end. There was also prosthetic work that was done for some characters like the orc at the beginning, and the makeup team did an amazing job because he really looked the part. Neverwinter is also stunning, and I love the creepy, gloomy aesthetic of Thay. It looks like something straight out of Lord of the Rings. I hope you guys can back me up on this, and I'm really intrigued to see what they do with Thay in the sequel, which will hopefully happen, because this movie really does feel special and unique, and you can feel the effort and love that was put into crafting the different elements of the movie, like the effects, and it's great. Holga is great as well, so let's talk about her, the sound design, and the choreography. Oh my god, this film has such good choreography. The fight sequences always feel so purposeful and fluid. The choreography of Holga's fight sequences are heavy feeling, they're impactful, resonant, loud. Zhang's fight sequence offers a different feeling, with it being more swift, technical, and precise. Simon usually attacks from afar, Doric likes to get up close and personal, and Edgin's just kinda swinging wildly. But it works. The sequences are well shot and the music elevates the sequences to an even higher level of awesomeness. I love how the musical score matches what's happening on screen and also evolves with the fight. When Holga hits a guard, it sounds impactful. When Simon casts a spell, it sounds impactful. Even for minor actions like when Simon's pressing against this guy's eyes, there's this gelatinous sound effect that's added onto it, which makes the action sound and feel a lot more impactful, and I would say a good chunk of what makes this movie great is the superb attention to sound design. They also don't shy away from incorporating music into sequences, and I love it. They do this quite often, and I think in this genre of fantasy movies, you can get away with it. Holy orchestral music always accompanies Zank whenever he's on screen, and it's really funny and over the top.
Good evening.
Music also plays when they enter the bar of the Emerald Forest, and there are also tieflings that are playing instruments in the bar. There's just so much room for musicality in this film, and it's great. But let's talk about Holga, because she is also great. She's an empathetic and down-to-earth character who carries a lot of pain from her past, but stays headstrong nevertheless. Her bond with Kira is so wholesome, and we form a connection with her as we see her playing with Kira and treating her with care and affection. Her simple-minded nature also leads to some incredibly funny dialogue, and she's incredibly badass. Her hair is awesome, and so is her axe. The fact that she chose to spend her last moments of life singing a tune that Edgin and her sang pretty often just goes to show how deep their friendship was. Holga is a loyal friend and a great character. Zank is also a great character, and the costume and set designs are also great. Zank's paladin armor is ethereal looking, and I adore his bluish green robe, and I really want one for myself, but I'm not sure if it's because the robe looks good or if it's just because Rege Jean Page is wearing it. Zank's hair also looks really nice, and I kinda wish Rege had it in real life. But anyways, Zank is not the only one with a cool costume in this film. Holga also has a cool costume, and so does Doric, and Edgin, and Simon, and pretty much the entire cast. The prison guards have cool armor, and the background characters also have cool costumes. The set designs are also superb. Edgin's house is incredibly cute, cozy, and surrounded by nature, and then we also have these big battlefield sets with so many intricate details and parts to it, not to mention the taverns as well. They're very unique and aesthetically pleasing. But a story would not be complete without its characters, and you know who loves to manipulate the characters in this film? Forge. Forge as a character was handled really well, and he's the type of guy that you love to hate. He's a man who came from nothing and conned his way to the top, only to come crashing all the way down. Hugh Grant's performance is fun and believable, and he seems to be having a blast in this role. In fact, everyone seems to be into their characters in the story. Chris Pine adds a lot of charisma to Edgin's character, and I feel like this is the kind of role he should be given more of. The more lighthearted type of character, because he's really witty, yet he has a humility to him that makes him relatable and endearing. Rege Jean Page was great and hilarious. Justice Smith plays the awkward type very well. Michelle Rodriguez gave a sincere performance. Sophia Lillis is so talented and plays Doric very well. Chloe Coleman did amazing and has a promising future. And Daisy Head was incredibly intimidating. Let's talk about cinematography and storytelling though, with Edgin as our guide. The commitment to immersing us into this fantasy world is admirable, and there's so much creativity baked into this story. I love how they used the orc at the beginning as a vehicle to introduce the audience into this world and the characters. I love how they showed the entirety of Faerun on a map even though we only explore a small chunk of it in this film. I love how they used Jonathan to escape from prison. I love the different dialects that were spoken in this movie. I loved seeing the different creatures and species like the dwarves, mimics, the cat people, the puma/panther, and many more. The dedication to the medieval aesthetic is also so admirable and can be seen in the wardrobe, the dialect, the architecture, and the rituals. The exposition in this film is also done in a captivating way. There's a lot of movement and dynamics in the exposition sequences, which then retains our attention. The cinematography is also fluid and bold and leads to beautiful sequences and shots like this. The attention to detail is also impressive. For example, Edgin goes from wearing this puffy, dirty coat to this sleek, stylish jacket after becoming a thief because, well, he can afford it now. Sequences like them sneaking treasure into the convoy show how smart and efficient the writers are, using the strengths of each character to accomplish this task. Edgin's courage, Simon's magic, Holga's strength, and Doric's shape-shifting powers. They also made creative use of Doric's tail in that one scene, which is really impressive in my opinion. The film is also surprisingly brutal, with people getting outright stabbed, beheaded, and infected, but it also manages to be wholesome, funny, and emotional as well. And the symbolic weight of a rich con man being defeated by a rusty old potato is just far too great, and goes to show how bold they were in their storytelling choices. And yeah, I don't have any critiques for this movie, but there were things that I would have liked to see more of, like Doric and the Tieflings. Doric has a really cool power, and I wish we got to see her take on even more forms in this movie, but I'm also happy with what we got, because Doric does transform into a good amount of creatures. Same with Simon. I would have loved to see more of his spells, but I'm also very happy with what we got. I would have loved to see Edgin singing more tunes, and I would have liked to see the city folk of Neverwinter be developed a bit more, but I'm happy with what we got. Now it's time to tie it all back to spirituality, because if you didn't know, I am a spiritual seeker and believer. But don't worry, it's not going to be as heavy as the previous video. This is just going to be a light dose of spirituality to end things off. So I briefly touched on this film's emphasis on nature, and I do believe that part of what makes this movie special is its emphasis on nature. Grand, wide shots of mountains, volcanoes, and fields. And in spirituality, nature is one of the most sacred things in existence, because nature is egoless and is hence a purer manifestation of the universe. And since we are all also manifestations of the universe, you could say that nature reflects our true core self back at us and inspires us to lose our ego, if only for a second, which is why sometimes when we're looking at the big empty sky, we feel relaxed because we don't feel judged by the sky and are connected to it even. Hence it inspires us to be spacious and empty internally as well, which is why you may feel a sense of calm and ease whenever you're looking at these shots of nature. You could also say that the red ominous cloud that Zastam infects people with is thinking. These people are infected by thinking, by the conditioned human habit to think and overthink, because as we're taught early on in our life, we need to think big and achieve big and reinvent the wheel. It's all about creativity and using your brain, and then we get so wrapped up in chasing these external achievements to validate our existence that we forget our core inner essence, our essence of humanity, our essence as human beings and spiritual beings, which is already whole and complete and doesn't need validation. And in the movie itself, it says that these people are quote-unquote enslaved to Zastam's will, aka enslaved to the human mind and its obsession with thinking. And my analogy becomes even more convenient when you notice that the markings of Zastam are always on the person's head. That's how you know someone's been affected by Zastam's spell. And wouldn't you know it, the human brain is stored inside the head. To end things off, I just want to say that I'm really glad I watched Dungeons & Dragons in theaters, and if they ever do a rescreening of this movie, even though I've watched it like 20 times now, I would still highly consider rewatching it again with a new crowd of people. This film was made for mass audiences to enjoy, and these are the type of films that make the cinema going experience so near and dear to my heart. I love it. Hey, thank you for making it all the way to the end. Appreciate you as always. This is my second time filming my outro because my first one was horrendous. I was flubbing all over the place, more so than usual. But here we go. Second time's a charm. Hopefully not a third time. Don't you dare. Okay, so, oh, right. Okay, so, I've been wanting to thank you for watching this video, by the way. I just want you to know that I appreciate you so much. Just being like a digital content creator, I feel like people might not know how much you matter, how much the audience matters. Like, while I've been doing my internship at my digital media talent agency, I've just kind of realized how important you are, the viewer is, in this whole thing. You may just think that you're just watching a video and it's like, oh, whatever. No, you mean so much to like creators and influencers, though I don't really like to use that word. You mean so much to them. You are the ones that give people the platform and like opportunity to do things. So we as content creators owe so much to you, and I realize that now. Well, I've kind of always known that, but during this internship, I've really like it really hit me, like, how important you guys are. And, you know, my last video got over, like, 100 views. Crazy. And, like, my Asteroid City video, I'm pretty sure, also has, like, over 100 views. So, thank you guys so much. I want to express my gratitude more. So, going forth, I'm going to be giving away a small amount of money every video in my outros. So I'll start with $20, and maybe as the channel grows, I will keep on increasing that amount. So 20 Singaporean dollars, by the way, you have to convert that to however much it is in your country's currency, but it will be 20 Singaporean dollars because I live in Singapore as of right now. So how do you win the $20 or stand a chance to win? Basically, all you have to do is to just comment on this video and one of my other videos. That way you get entered into the giveaway. And if I pick you and I see if I see that you commented on this video and the other video, then I will pick you, and then I will ask for your Discord handle or username or whatever, and then we will discuss it from that point onward on Discord. So that is basically it. Just to show that I understand how important you guys are, and I just want to thank you for surpassing getting my previous video to over 100 views. So thank you so much. I will keep on doing this for as long as I can, like the giveaways and just, you know, content creating in general. And speaking of which, I am going to be teasing my next video right now. What will it be about, I wonder? Stranger Things, maybe? No, I'll be saving that for another day. No, my friends, I am very happy to announce that my next video will be about... Oh, hang on. I'm getting a call. That's strange. Hold on. Hello?